What is up, my sweet little baby squids? You know what Papa Yam always says, I keep getting older, and these squids, well, they just stay the same age, which means I am back to share some nice, sweet, juicy tips and tricks for this current fresh crop of new riders. Because you need it! There are more threats to your progress than ever before. I mean, back when I started motorcycling in 2015, there was no TikTok or helmet creators or artificial intelligence. I am here to disseminate the good word of our Lord and Savior Valentino Rossi and teach you what it takes to become a prosperous motorcyclist. I won't talk about gear or the importance of lubing your chain every 100 miles. You can go on our motorcycles for that. Today, we're going to get into real deal, real world tips. So come on and let's touch some tips. Look, at the end of the day, human beings are just monkeys that learned how to use tools and work collectively to conquer the world. And as a result, there are still animal instincts that lurk deep down in your brain that often only make themselves known during moments of stress or unforeseen circumstances. It's like when you're at the grocery store and you get the sudden sensation to drive a spear directly through a man's heart when he's cut you in line to the self-checkout zone of the H-E-B. When you're new to riding a motorcycle, there will often be moments that trigger subconscious survival instincts that contradict your training and social norms. One of the big and potentially hazardous threats like this is target fixation. Target fixation is your brain's way of saying, that guardrail looks dangerous, let's go say hi. What happens is, when your eyes see something scary or threatening, like a gravel patch, a car bumper, or a squirrel with a death wish, your brain locks onto it like a heat-seeking missile. But unfortunately, on a motorcycle, you must look where you want to go. So if you fixate on the hazard, that's where you and your bike are gonna end up. You've probably seen a crash video where the rider has yards of empty pavement to avoid something, but still nails it dead on. That's target fixation at work. You can think of it as a crash assist feature that comes hardwired into your brain free of charge. The fix is to rewire your brain to look at the escape route, not the hazard. If you see a pothole, look past it. If a car drifts onto your lane, find the empty space and aim your eyes there. If you're coming hot into a corner, look at the exit through the corner, not the edge of the road. Your hands will follow your eyes. It may feel weird at first, but it does become more natural the longer that you do it. Sounds like being a curious teenager all over again, discovering the sensations of the human body beneath a clear moonlit sky of a summer's night. If you took the MSF course, you probably had the words "don't brake in corners" pounded into your skull, but that statement is only half true. You don't grab a fistful of front brake mid-corner while on the side of the tire. That's certainly ill-advised, and doing so risks monopolizing the finite limits of traction within the tire, causing the front wheel to wash out and the bike to low side. Don't brake in corners is probably good advice for an ultra noob who just yesterday learned who Valentino Rossi is. But for riders who want to actually get better at cornering, they must understand trail braking, which is an invaluable skill that technically defies the tenet of the MSF of don't brake in corners. Trail braking is the skill of carrying a little bit of brake pressure into the corner and gradually easing off as you lean. Racers do it, experienced street riders do it, I do it every day on my commute up here to Yammy HQ, and it's something that you should be open to no matter how much your skill set grows over time or the hard line the MSF instructors teach when it comes to brakes and corners. Trail braking keeps the motorcycle's fork compressed and it keeps the weight on the front of the bike, which improves the tire's contact patch. It's just the way the bike is designed to work. Trail braking also allows you to continue to adjust your speed mid-corner without having to upright the bike. As you approach the apex and look through the turn you're coming in too hot, if you already have some pressure on your front brake, you can add a little more to slow your speed and tighten your line. This is way more smooth and controlled than braking entirely before the turn, taking an educated guess about your entry speed, and then just turning in and sending it. And then also, the front really isn't loaded, and so the bike's never going to feel settled. Because there's already some pressure on the brakes when you're trail braking, you can adjust slightly to change your speed without a loss of traction, compared to having zero brake pressure before panic braking mid-turn when you realize you're going wide. So, yes, never brake in a turn is beginner speak for don't jam the front brake like a maniac mid-corner. Learn trail braking early and you'll instantly level up your riding game. It seems like every new sport bike rider goes through this phase. You buy knee pucks, you watch too many MotoGP highlight reels, and suddenly you're hanging off your Ninja 400 in a suburban roundabout going 22 miles an hour. The truth is, when riding on the street, dragging knee is basically just cosplay or LARPing behavior. It's not going to give you more control, it's just giving everyone else something to laugh at, or I guess mindless people on TikTok something to look at. In racing, the reason a rider leans off their bike and drags knee is simple. It lowers their center of gravity, which decreases the lean angle required to tackle a corner at higher speeds. The knee touching down is just a side effect of the body positioning, and it can also serve as a bit of a measurement of where the rider is at in relation to the road. Fun fact, nowadays when I ride on track, I basically just dab my knee a little bit and then I bring it back and I put my elbow further down. If you hang off your bike and drag your knee on the road, you're just a squid looking for street cred. On public roads with other vehicles, potholes, gravel, guardrails, and oncoming traffic, there really isn't a reason anyone would ever need to lean to the point of dragging knee. Yet, I've seen so many new riders over the years hanging off the side of their bike, trying everything in their power to get that knee as close to the road as possible, all without any consideration for actual proper riding technique. You're riding to the bike meetup, not qualifying for the Isle of Man TT. On the street, that type of behavior is just really unnecessary. Just be normal, please. All right, one of the biggest myths surrounding motorcycles is that you're gonna save a lot of money by riding. You'll get better gas mileage, maybe, but that's about where your savings will stop. Here's what really happens. You buy your bike, you buy a helmet, then you realize you need gloves, a jacket, pants, boots, and so on. Suddenly, you're down $1,200 and you haven't even filled the gas tank yet. Then you got all the damn maintenance. A motorcycle might be cheaper than a car, smaller than a car, but they sure go through wear items a lot faster than a car. I mean, seriously, 2 years ago I put on new tires on my truck. They said they're gonna last for 60,000 miles. Do you know how long a motorcycle tire lasts? Like 4,000, if you're lucky. You got tires, chains, sprockets, brake pads, and so much more. You see how much they're charging for sport bike tires these days? A single Dunlop Q5 for the rear is like $300. $300 for one tire. Ouch. Motorcycle tires are specialized, they're performance-oriented, and they wear way faster than they do on the car. Don't forget about insurance. If you're under 25 and you ride a sport bike, congratulations, you just became State Farm's favorite customer. Jake is going to come to your house and deliver the plaque in person. And we haven't even talked about the rabbit hole of mods or farkles yet. It starts with the slip-on, then a full exhaust, then a tune, then a windscreen, new levers, rear sets, maybe even an entirely different bike, maybe adding to the stable because this one just doesn't have enough power, bro. I can't keep up with my buddies on the highway, dude. So, no, you're not saving money by buying a bike. You're just trading cash for dopamine, which is fine. We all do it. There are certainly more reckless ways to spend your money. I mean, look at your local casino. Just don't walk around acting like dailying an R6 is a Sigma finance hustler move because it's definitely not. But for those out there piloting an $1,800 Grom every day to and from work, maybe you do have a point. Here's something crazy. Your bike came with an owner's manual. Yeah, the one that you shoved in the junk drawer where it's destined to live for eternity amongst spare AA batteries and Chinese takeaway menus. But did you know that deep down inside that owner's manual, there are cryptic secrets that can unlock your hidden potential as a motorcycle owner? By referencing the owner's manual, you can transcend this earthly plane where mortals are forced to search forum posts for technical data regarding their bikes. No, scrawled in the sacred text of the owner's manual is information about tire pressure, chain tension, oil type, and all the good stuff you need to know to not end up like Thought taking sucking oil out of the crankcase through a tube because it was overfilled. Sorry, dude. Or even worse, a fate worse than death, posting a video on Reddit asking, "Does my bike sound weird to you guys?" A service manual is even more sacred. Step-by-step directions, diagrams, torque specs, instructions straight from the people who understand your motorcycle better than your right hand knows your deleted browser history. Even if you don't plan to overhaul your bike or remove the engine, having access to a service manual will make you a more prepared owner in the instances that you need it. I don't mean to blow the lid off of the service manual industry, but you can usually find a PDF of it for free online. Taking the guesswork and forum diving out of basic repairs and maintenance makes the whole experience far more straightforward. The most dangerous rider on the road is the one that thinks because they've been riding for 6 months incident-free that they're practically an expert and ready for a leader bike. This is the Dunning-Krueger effect in action. When you first start riding, you know nothing. Then you get some seat time under your belt, your skills improve, and then you think you've really mastered it. In reality, you're just good enough to get overconfident, and that's when the bad decisions start. You start riding a little more aggressively, coming too fast into corners, you tailgate minivans filled with school children, you tell people, "I've never even crashed," as if it's a proof of skill when it's really just a proof of luck. The cure is to stay humble and understand that you don't know everything, especially the things you don't even know that you don't know. The best riders are the ones that are constantly learning. Look for opportunities for improvement every time you ride. If you find yourself thinking that you've got it all figured out, that's when you're in the danger zone. There's always more to learn. Riding while tense is like trying to eat soup on the back of a mechanical bull. Not only does it make it harder to be smooth and purposeful with the controls, it also creates more risk of inattention or reactionary riding. If you've got a death grip on the controls, shoulders hunched, jaw clenched, you're fighting the bike rather than working with it. A relaxed rider makes smoother inputs, reacts faster, and honestly just looks cooler. You know that someone is way outside of their comfort zone when they're locked and rigid with body language that implies they aren't having a single ounce of fun on their motorcycle. Not to mention that a tense, stressed, or aggressive attitude will have dire consequences in the way you interact with those around you. This often escalates situation and makes them way worse than they need it to be. If you're riding a motorcycle on the street, you're gonna have to deal with cars. It's inevitable. You don't have much of a choice in that. But you do have a choice in the way that you respond to hazardous situations. Oftentimes, I see motorcyclists overreacting to situations with cars on the street. But here's the thing. If you didn't crash or get hurt, just move on with your life. If you stay angry and upset, you're gonna lose focus and clarity and run the risk of making unsafe decisions when you ride. So just be chill, be zen, you will be better off for it. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of the video. If you're a new rider here, you're in luck. We have a whole bunch of content here at Yami Noob that I am certain you will enjoy. I will catch all of you in the next one, and I'll see you later. Fact: being bored is actually a high arousal state physiologically. Don't get too excited. Now, this is because when you're bored, your heart rate increases. So do us all a favor. Don't stare at a screen today. Goodbye.